So, so I'm gonna tell the story of my time commercial fishing in Alaska 2 years ago. It starts with my buddy coming up to me in like May, saying he knows a guy who needs two bros to go help him fish in Alaska for 3 months, and I'm broke, so I was like, hell yeah, like that sounds like a really cool experience. So come June, we fly on those like little water planes out into the middle of nowhere, Kodiak, Alaska, and it drops us off on this little tiny island with two shacks, basically. I'm not even going to call them like cabins, they're shacks. And, we settle in. And coming into this, I thought that it was going to be we're on a big boat, one of those big commercial fishing boats that drags nets behind it all day long. But that's not what we were doing. We would drive out to nets that were already placed in the water on like a little 12-foot skiff, like a tin foil boat, and we drive out and we like go hand pick all of the fish. So one day, the fishery people who make all the rules were like, all right, the salmon aren't running right now, so we're gonna close it for a couple days and then you can go back out. So we had to go and take all of our nets out of the water so they're not catching salmon anymore, which is a big ordeal. It takes all day because you gotta like pull up this huge net and then like coil it into your boat. This is a 300 fathom net, and a fathom is 6 feet, so it's 1,800 feet of net that you're hand pulling out of the water and into your boat. So it's one of those days. My buddy Zach and I, we wake up and we're just like, all right, like, let's get to it. Time for the grind. And little did we know, like, it's been slow fishing all year up to this point. The nets are just full of salmon. So not only are we pulling up the net out of the water, we got to pull out, you know, every foot there's like 3 salmon in it. So that's like, 18 pounds of fish plus the net for every foot. And on top of that, you know, the day starts out like in the morning, it's a nice sunny day. And then on top of that, there's a storm. All of a sudden, we get hit with a storm. Waves are huge. And remember, we're on this like tiny little 10-foot or tin can boat, and waves are coming, rocking us side to side. And we got to pull up this net with the salmon in it. And, our captain, he's an old dude. He's like 70 or something. And he's trying to stay cool. Zach and I are kind of ignorant to what's happening right now, but we're on this huge boat, or this tiny boat, and huge waves are coming at us, and we have way too much weight on the boat. Like, the net itself is heavy, and then the fact that we have a ton of salmon in it too makes it like even heavier. So we're sinking. We're literally sinking. And waves are coming over and they're, crashing into the boat. Our captain, we look back at our captain, we're like, oh, this is getting crazy. And our captain's just like, stern face. He's like, just keep pulling, like, we got to get this done now. And, my buddy Zach, he's a big dude. So he's doing a lot of the, like, pulling the net through the ringer thing. I'm not going to explain everything. But anyways, he's doing a lot of that. And I got to be taking a bucket and I'm dumping water out of the boat to keep us from sinking. And this takes forever. Like, we have two nets out in the water, and it took us from 11 in the morning to 11 at night. And then we didn't have time when we were pulling the nets out of the water to like take all the salmon out and sort them and shit. So we had to wait. We had to pull all of the nets out of the water. and then put them on an empty skiff, and then at 11 at night, this is Alaska in the summer, so it's not dark, but we are digging through the nets that are in the skiffs, taking out squished, gross salmon because there's there's this weight been on top of them for the last 3 hours, 4 hours, and that was the longest day of work I've ever had. 14, 15 hours straight physical labor. But it did teach me. It did teach me one thing, that good things can come out of long days of work. We made $3,000 that day. So, it paid off. But it was a lot of work. I don't really recommend it, but I would do it again. Condescending?